Hello, public. This one goes out to David Semis. Ah, man, I'm going to butcher that last name. David, um, who asked me what my favorite fantasy race was, and also pointed out something is that the Bard, which in my last video, which I described my favorite and least favorite class, the Bard was not always a core class. And I'm going to clarify on that real quick. In 1974, there was only 3 main classes, which was Fighting Man, which probably made it odd for female characters. Let's see here, Magic User, and Cleric. And in 78, they added 3 classes, I believe, and that was Paladin, Druid, and some other class. And then in 79, I think they added 4 more. And the Bard was among them, along with the Thief, and the Ranger, and, oh man, I want to say, oh well, I'm just blanking on stuff. But, the thing I did like about the Bard was the fact that you couldn't really tell where it stemmed from. I mean, same thing with the Thief. You know, it's got core written all over it. But the Ranger, you could tell that it stemmed from a fighter. You could tell that the Druid stemmed from a nature-esque magic user, whether be it cleric. I would say probably more bending towards the cleric. And the Paladin from the fighter or the cleric, but you could tell where every class came from, except for the Bard. The Bard kind of had its own flavor, to which, even though it is my least favorite class, and that's only because I haven't really seen it pulled off well, and don't think I could do it myself without turning it into a joke, but I digress. Is that I did like that about the Bard, is that it really did have its own flavor, even if that flavor wasn't necessarily to my liking. But moving on to my favorite fantasy races, which I think I would have to go with my least favorite would probably go with I'll go basic. My favorite one would probably be, or my least favorite would probably be, probably human. Why? Because I'm playing a human now. It's like I live life as a human. I know exactly what being human is like. So, probably that. If I had to pick a second least favorite, dwarf. I love their affinity for axes, but, as far as the whole, we're short people and we're minors and second favorite, oh man, there you go, I'll put it in 3 instead of a 3-way tie like I said last time. I'll go ahead and stagger it. In third place, as far as my favorite goes, I would have to say elf. And just because something that has that amount of longevity that could actually like see the passage of time and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. My second favorite, and this is kind of weird, but is half-elves. And the reason for that is because I like anytime they're described, they're kind of shunned by both sides. Elves don't really like them. They're human enough to where elves are like, nah. And then they're elven enough where humans go, jealous. So they kind of get hit from both sides. And I like actually playing, like the difficult role of just society seems to be against you all the time. I'm a big uphill struggle kind of guy. But, which leaves my favorite class, or my favorite race, which is the halfling. Which used to be labeled as the Hobbit, but probably got in trouble for some copyright mess. But as far as D&D and especially Pathfinder, which is what I relate to now more than anything, or what I play now more than anything. I have to go with the halfling because they can be just as lethal as anybody else. But the society, the society is so wonderful because everybody, for the most part, gets along. They're happy. They're joyous. They're one of those societies to where if they really need to, they can throw down. Even though they're wee people, and but for the most part, when most societies get back to neutral, it's peaceful. But when they kick back to neutral, that's, peaceful is boring to them. It's like they have all these festivals, and it's like harkening back to Lord of the Rings. You know, Bilbo's birthday. Any reason they can find to celebrate. And it's just like, I love playing. It's like, even when I played a halfling thief or played a halfling necromancer, but all the time when I was playing those characters, the default was always to be happy, and was always to be, share that good attitude with everybody else, which I like to think is me naturally. But anyway, I hope that clears it up. So if I had to say least favorite, I'd have to say human, just because I am one. And if I had to go most favorite, I'd definitely settle on halfling. So I hope that clears it up. Thanks, David, for the question. And yeah, you keep dropping them, and I'll keep recording them. Have a good one. Bye, people.